Okay, you are recording and you are live on the YouTube channel, so I'm just gonna.
Okay. Give it another minute. Sharon, have you seen any, I guess you would know as the host, have you seen any attempt for them to try and log in from Green Street?
No.
Okay.
Maybe they're at City Hall.
Well, I'm assuming the doors are locked, so I know it's a nice evening on Deer Hill Avenue, so. All right, I'm going to start. We'll go through the preliminaries, and if they're here when we're ready, then good. If not, we'll go to the next one, and hopefully they are here before the end of the evening. So good evening and welcome. This is the July 9th meeting of the Danbury Zoning Board of Appeals, taking place on Zoom virtual meeting. And the first order of business on this, and especially because we're virtual, is to take roll call. So I would ask you to respond in some manner that you are present. Mr. Hanna?
I'm here.
Mr. Rivas?
Present.
Mr. Sibbett?
Here.
Mr. DeLucia? Unmute yourself. Peter,
Present.
unmute.
I'm sorry.
Present. And I am Rod Moore, acting chairman for tonight's meeting. The legal notice says this. I'm sorry, you know what? Let's, I'm gonna go right down. I'm gonna do something we don't normally do. I'm gonna go straight down the agenda from A to Z. After the roll call, the next order of business is acceptance of the minutes from the May 28th meeting. Is there a motion to accept those draft minutes? Hopefully you've had the chance to read them. I think all 5 of us are here that were there on May 28th.
I make a motion that we accept the meetings of May 28th, 2020.
Mr.
As
Rivas
read.
makes a motion, second by Mr. Hanna.
Second, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the
Aye.
record show the decision was unanimous. So going forward, pursuant to executive order number 71, section 19C, notice for items 20-18 and 20-19 were delivered electronically to the town clerk and posted online. Do we have a motion to hear applications 20-18, 6 Crane Street, and application 20-, I'm sorry, 20-18, 6, yes, 20-18, 6 Crane Street, and 20-19, 89 Newtown Road. A motion to hear those 2 applications.
I make a motion to hear 2018 and 2019.
Mr. Hanna makes a motion, second.
I second.
I think Peter was just a little quicker on the draw. Peter seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's go forward with the second one, and let me explain what we'll be doing. And again, we hope that the people for Crane Street will show up. So we'll go right to the application for 20-19 Colonial Subaru, 89 Newtown Road, CG 20 zone, to reduce side yard setback from 20 feet to 14 feet for building overhang and 15 feet to the face of the building for proposed addition. I believe Mr. Dodo is here tonight representing them. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman, members of the ZBA, Benjamin Dodo, here tonight representing the applicant, Colonial Subaru. Sharon, may I be able to share my screen?
All set, go right ahead.
Okay. Okay, we're here tonight. This is the existing Colonial Subaru site at the intersection of Newtown Road and Old Sherman Turnpike. It's an existing auto dealership that was constructed about 5 or 6 years ago. It's the former Robert Buick site. The proposal that we're here for today is to install and construct an 11,800 square foot addition off the east side of the building. When you're facing the building from Newtown Road, that would be to the right of the building there. And it's going to be an 8-bay service and storage addition. Very simply, this facility was built several years back. Business is to the point. They've sold more cars, and they need to increase their service capacity. Back in 2012, we received variances from your board to be able to redevelop the site. And I know not all of you were here, so I'm going to just briefly go over the history of it, only to, sort of update everybody. This site was historically the Robert Buick site. This is what it looked like in its heyday. 4 curb cuts along Newtown Road, three separate buildings, a 47-foot high billboard sign out on the site. And in 2012, ZBA, your board, gave us a series of variances to allow us to redevelop the site. In every case that we received a variance, it was to make things less non-conforming. And if you were to go by the site today, you'll see that everything we said we would do, we did. Things worked out, and the facility that we said we built back in 2012 is what you see there today, which is what is here. In 2012, the neighbor to the south appealed the decision. So we worked out an agreement back in 2013, and we actually modified the side yard setback at that time it was originally approved at 11 feet, and we had it moved to 13 and 14 feet. So what we're here for today is to basically maintain the side yard setback along this building wall right here. The city zoning regs require 20 feet. And we're asking to build at 15 for the face of the building and 14 at the overhang. And all that is to do is to match what is there today. And it keeps in line with the variances the ZBA has already granted. The only thing, the ZBA granted it per plan. And that's why we're here today, because this addition was not on that plan. That's all that's going to happen on the site. We're going to make a few changes to some landscape islands that we have to reconfigure to accommodate the addition. In addition, over behind the Mutual Security Credit Union on Old Sherman Turnpike, we have an auto storage area it's going to accommodate some of the lost parking over on this side. We're going to make some of this customer parking over in this area. So it's going to involve the construction of some landscape islands. But basically everything you see there today will continue to exist. So what we're asking for today is a variance to the side yard setback. We contacted the neighbor at Seven Springs Realty right within a day or two of submitting this application to let them know what we're doing in light of what happened last time. And we have gone over the plans with them. We've met them. And I'm going to just report what our attorney said today, that Seven Springs Realty has no opposition to this variance. So basically, What we're here for today is that one variance. We are in compliance with everything else. Our building coverage, and I know this is important to the ZBA, our building coverage is at about just under 28% with this addition. This zone allows 30% building coverage, so we're not asking for a building coverage variance. And really all we're doing is asking to keep what we already have in place with a new plan that shows this larger building there. The plan that was there before, as you can see, like I said, this is an aerial of what the old Robert Buick looked like, where we had complete encroachment on this side yard here, as with a portion of this building and this building. And again, what you have today is a significant improvement over what's out there. And if the variance is granted, we will, submit to P&Z for our site plan application, a revised one. Be happy to answer any questions anyone may have. And I did forget to mention to you, with me tonight is Darren Bailuni. He's one of the owners of the property, and he's watching this application as well tonight.
All right. I have a couple of questions, and then certainly we'll see if anybody else has any
Sure, Rod.
questions. I was there. I remember well. In fact, I went back and found the minutes, about 4 pages of them from that night, from this particular application. Yeah, we granted a boatload. I think about 10 variances that night. I guess my question goes to hardship. I mean, how many service bays are in the original building? How many are there now?
The original building has 19 service bays, and we're adding 8 to it. So it'll get us to 27. That's not an unusual amount of service bays. As far as the hardship, in my opinion, it's the unusual shape of this lot and the fact that our building is already there. But yeah, again, it's an 8-bay addition. It would bring us up to 27.
All right. That existing wood fence, that stays right where it is, right? That runs along that whole
Yes.
side of the
yes.
property?
Yep. That existing wood fence, it screens us between us and our neighbor, will stay there just like it is.
You answered my coverage question. That the night of that meeting, you were looking at 21% coverage. You're saying it'll be 28% at this point?
Yeah, I think it was closer to 20. I'd have to check the map, Rod.
Okay.
I think it was, well, I could tell you right now, just quickly. And when I say an 11,000 square foot addition, it's about 5,900 square foot in footprint. It's 2 stories. So it's a lot more modest than it seems. So there's going to be some part storage above, taking advantage of some of that lost space above there. The building height's going to be 25 feet, exactly what we have out there today. This zone allows quite a bit more. Let me just do the math, Rod, real quickly. 60.
Yeah, well, the most critical thing is that you've done the math for what it would be, including the addition. So that's the.
Yeah, we're probably at about 23 right now, and
Okay.
it's getting us up to about 28, just under 28.
All right. One of the things mentioned in the minutes was there's a 42-inch storm drain that I think you speculated at the time that you might connect to that. Was that ever connected, and does connecting that or not being connected in any way? I mean, you're taking out some of the drainage area with although it's all concrete or all asphalt there now, I guess, pretty much. But anyway, was that ever were you ever connected to that 42-inch storm drain?
Yes, we were, and we are. I can actually, that sort of ties into sort of the hardship as to why the building needs to go where it is. I'm going to just sketch on here. I didn't bring, unfortunately, my utility plan, but I know exactly where it is.
Okay, I'm sure you do.
Yes. See this sort of water course here? There is a 42-inch storm drain that runs through the site like this. And then it cuts this way. It takes drainage from the DOT, from 84 and Newtown Road. It's one of the reasons, if you look at the original Robert Buick site, here, I'll go to the 2012 survey here. This one actually shows it. The original Robert Buick facility, the 42-inch storm drain, the building was built on top of it. And that's not something that is ideal. Our existing drainage at that time in 2012 was tied into that storm drain. And as you can see, in 2012, the entire site virtually was paved just from the standpoint of what it was. So when we built the new building, we favored this direction. And the actual existing building is not constructed on the storm drain. In fact, that almost dictated, well, it didn't almost dictate, it did dictate most of the site design and the layout. And one of the reasons we kept, started the building wall this way and constructed in this direction. Like, we could not put that addition here today. It just wouldn't work. Nor would it make sense if you ever had to get in there and fix that storm drain. But our drainage rod does go to that storm drain. We maintained pre-2012 drainage rates. And in fact, if you could see these three little manholes here is a very expensive oil water separator. So if there's ever a spill on the site, it gets contained in there before going into the storm drain and discharging onto the neighbor's property.
All right.
And all the drainage here, we will not be increasing runoff. As you can see where the proposed building is, it's going in an area of pavement, and we're going to be tying into the same system that we're in today.
Okay. I think that answers my questions. Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Dodo from the board? No questions. All right. Is there anyone else here tonight to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone here in opposition to this application? No one in opposition and no one else in favor.
So-
All right,
Rod, do you mind if I just repeat what my hardship was here from the application?
go ahead.
Or is that not necessary?
Just repeat it. I'm always about hardships.
Yeah, only because you mentioned it. So, and this is in our application. And the hardship is, in our opinion as the applicant, it's the irregular shape of the lot combined with the shallow depth and the existing conditions, the fact that we have a wall already in that location. So as you can see, the lot is very shallow in depth, and it does have an irregular shape. It comes to a point on the west, and there is the credit union that's off to the north and east that sort of takes a chunk out of the site as well. So thank you, Rod.
All right, thank you, Ben. No further questions then, correct? Do we have a motion to close the hearing on 20-19?
Make a motion to close.
Are there any
2018.
objections?
I asked, there were none.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Yeah, it was kind of crickets. All right, Mr. Hanna, you're making a motion?
I make a motion to close 2018.
Second? Anybody say
Second.
That's a correction, 20-19.
20, I'm sorry, 20 days, yes, 20-19, yes. Any second on that motion to close 20-19?
I'll second that.
Juan, seconded. Mr. Rivera seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record show the vote was unanimous to close this public hearing. Ben, would you mind to stop sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry, Rod.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. I see here that I don't see anyone regarding Crane Street other than Mr.
Yes,
Yagan. So it looks like we're going to have to continue this.
Hold on, Mr. Chairman, there's a Jocelyn Medina. Is that her?
that's her. Yes.
She has to unmute herself. I
Oh,
think
I
she
see.
called in.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Okay.
Is
okay,
Medina.
there she is.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Hi, my name is Jocelyn Medina.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Go ahead.
All right, and you're here for representing the owners at Crane Street?
Yes, that's my parents.
Okay, all right. And that is, this is the hearing for 6 Crane Street, yes? And you represent their parents. Mary, do you have the spelling and the name for the record there of Miss Medina?
I do. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right. Okay. You may miss the beginning, so I just mentioned to you, Ms. Medina, that you can present your application, present your case. At that point, we'll ask questions, and then we'll ask if there's anybody else to speak in favor of it. And then after that, we'll ask if there's anyone here with any concerns or wants to speak against your application. At which point, if there is someone who has questions or concerns, you have the opportunity to address those. All right, so go right ahead and present your case. I do have, Sharon will allow me, some maps which may help us see what you're attempting to do. So I don't know, Shin, let me just see here. I can do it.
Yes.
Okay. I think we have this map right here. All right, let me make it a little bit larger. Oh. Bear with me. All right, so I think everyone hopefully can see the map. And if you want to proceed, if you need help pointing out, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, but go right ahead and let us know what you want to do.
Yes, when we moved to the new property, the existing retaining wall along the south property line was in disrepair. Due to the existing grading of the property and condition of the existing wall, we decided to replace the wall due to the conditions and safe of others. So we had a survey prepared and also have an engineer retaining wall layout plan prepared. We plan on replacing the wall along the proper line. In order for us to construct the engineer wall, we will need to excavate it within 5 feet of the proper line. So we believe the variance being requested in the minimum variance necessary in order to allow reasonable use of property and are generally in harmony with the spirit of the zoning district. Furthermore, we believe the variance will not adversely affect the public health or safety and the welfare of the public. So I know you can show the map. There is already the old wall is almost falling. So we want to replace a new one with concrete and iron. So I don't know if everybody hear me.
Yes, we hear you. So this would be along here. Ben
Yeah.
can draw lines much straighter than I can. And along here, those 2 sections, is that correct?
Yes, we want to build the new one in the proper line.
All right. So what precipitated the need to do this? Now, there's another retaining wall below this wall, right? That's on the parking lot of the adjoining property. Mr. Lagan's property, I guess, correct? That doesn't change, that stays there, correct? And you're building the second wall, if you will, the upper level. Is that kind of how it goes?
Yeah, okay, we wanna do in the proper line, the new wall and take it out the old one. So we wanna have more space on the backyard.
All right. How high will this wall be?
Sorry?
How high will it be?
How high? It's gonna be like 3 sections. And let me see, sorry.
3 sections. Okay, so it's here
Yeah.
too? Those 3 sections?
Let me see. One is gonna be, I think, 4 feet. Another is gonna be 8 feet. Another is gonna be 6 feet.
Okay.
Yes.
And you said you've had an engineer design this wall?
Yes, we asked to David Cruz. I don't know if you heard before him.
Not sure.
Yeah, he helped us to do the engineer contract. Well,
All right. All
and
right,
also
so
the survey.
you're redoing this wall because the one that's there is
It's danger for our
Irrigated?
neighbors because it's
Okay.
almost falling. It's gonna
Okay.
be a danger for our neighbors if something happen to fall down to their house. We're gonna have troubles with them.
right.
That's why we
Okay.
wanna do it a new one.
Okay.
I walked the property, Rod, and it's kind of hilly and it's this steep pitch, which would explain why they would want 8 foot high walls. And then walking the property, what they're trying to also correct here, and on the map it shows you easily, is encroachments and where so that the boundary line is the line, the wall, the engineered wall itself. Because of the steep incline, the 5 feet setback would be kind of tough. It would probably come out 10, 12 feet.
Right. Yeah, I was there too. And it is a kind of dilapidated, that wall. No doubt
Yeah.
about it. All right. All right. Any other questions? Any questions from the board?
Nope.
All right. Anyone else here to speak in favor of this application? All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application or add your comments or questions?
I have concerns.
All right. Would you just, again, just introduce yourself again for the record?
Is Dr. Victory Logan, and I am the owner, along with my wife, of the adjoining property, 85 Oxford Street, which you see as V&L Logan Realty LLC, which is adjoining that. And let me, by way of introduction, I think it was their daughter, Miss Medina, who approached me one afternoon while I was leaving the office and told me of their plans to do it. And they asked me if it would be okay for a large cement truck to access, to use my property to do the work that they're suggesting. And initially, I didn't seem to have much problem with it, but on second thought, I realized that I'm exposing myself to some risk here, and a risk I don't feel comfortable taking, and I will not allow. I have no problem with the plan itself, but I just have a problem with granting access to such a large piece of equipment that could potentially damage my property or my driveway and my parking lot. And, it is on the market. I'm trying to sell it. So I don't want any possible damage to my property done. And I'm possibly exposing myself to some liability here should an accident occur while work is being done there and while it's on my property. So.
All right, that's your choice, certainly. That's not really in the purview of us to force you to do that. All we can do is either grant or not grant the variance for the excavation of the line there. And if you have no problem with that wall, but you do have a problem with access with the
It
concrete.
doesn't matter. We
etc.
can do through my house. We asked just in case, but he said it's fine. So if he's no agree with that, we can do in our properties. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to get the concrete back there if they have to
Yes,
remain
it
on
doesn't
the
matter.
site. So, yeah.
It doesn't
All
matter.
right.
It's fine. We
Okay.
just wanna do it a new wall because we wanna prevent some damage to our neighbors or someone can be, unsafe.
All right. Okay. Any other questions from the board? One last time. Any other objections? No.
I think there's it could be worked out. There's a trade-off. I mean, you could use either a pump to pump the cement, or if the cement truck goes on the doctor's property, assuming liability for, say the asphalt gets damaged, that could be fixed. So when it,
That's
if
that's
and when,
entirely up to him, yeah. That's
um,
entirely up to the doctor.
Will not allow that.
And that's fine. I mean, that's,
Yes, that's
Yeah.
fine. Doesn't matter. We can do it through our house. We
there
just
are,
asked
there are other
just in
options. Yeah.
case.
All
Yeah,
right. Okay, all right,
sorry.
all right. Do we have a motion to close 20-18?
I make a motion to close 20-18.
Mr. DeLucia
Second.
make a motion. Second by Mr. Hannah.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Meeting, the application is now closed. All right. Do we have a motion to go into executive voting session for both of these applications? No one wants to vote tonight, huh?
I make a motion, we go into executive voting
All right, Mr.
for
Rivas.
20-18 and 20-19.
All right, well, let's do
Second.
18 first. Yeah. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, 20-18, the one we just heard,
Excuse me,
6 Crane Street.
excuse me,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman. Who
I
seconded
did.
that motion?
I did.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, any discussion, motions? Comments?
I would just like to make a comment on 20-18 before voting, that no matter what the outcome is of the vote, that the issue with the landowner of the abutting property, that be handled separately from this application.
We have no jurisdiction really, and not our
Yeah.
purview, what private property owners do or don't do with access. All right, duly noted.
I'll make a motion to approve 2018 Medina Juan I and Ramon Florida M 6 Crane Street RH3 zone, reduced minimum bottom edge of excavation to fill from 5 feet to 0 feet from property line for retaining wall. It's engineered wall. They want to level the property and protect the, to safeguard the neighbors. And as per plan submitted.
I second.
Second from Mr. DeLucia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let the record show that the vote was unanimous. Thank you. All right, do we have a motion to hear 20- well, let's close this. Motion to close this 20-18?
I make a motion, we close application 20-18.
Second? Mr.
Second.
Rivas, and second by Peter. Motion by Juan, second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion to open 20-19 to a voting session.
We already make one voting session.
Well, we'll do one at a time, just for the record. So go ahead,
Yeah.
make a motion.
I make a motion to go into voting session for 2019.
All right, second.
Second.
Mr. Sibbett, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. 8 new bays for Colonial Subaru. Any comments? 28, give or take, according to Ben, square percentage coverage. Any questions? Any comments? Any motions?
I make a motion to approve 2019 Colonial Subaru Incorporation, 89 Newtown Road, CG 20 zone. Reduce side yard setback from 20 feet to 14 feet for building overhang and 15 feet to face of building for proposed addition. Maintaining what we approved before for side setback line, and seems to be the parking remain sufficient for the building, and because the hardship, the lot shape, and as per plan submitted.
All right.
I second.
A second from Peter. Yes, the drainage does not change. Permeability of the piece of land is the same with that new building. We have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Let the record show that was unanimous. It's approved unanimously. All right, let's close this session. A motion to close.
Thank you, everybody.
All
Good
right,
night.
Ben?
Good night, Ben.
Thank you.
Motion to close the voting session.
Make a motion to close the voting session.
Mr. Hannah, second.
Aye.
Mr. DeLuca, seconds.
Second.
All right. Voting is closed. One more item on the agenda, and that's the new bylaws. And I don't know if you've read the revised. Are there any questions on the bylaws that we are being asked to do? We've been at this quite a while. Chairman Jowdy has some concerns about terms, which were amended by Robin Edwards, corporate counsel. Terms would be for 3 years. There is both in this a chair and a vice chair elected to a 3-year term as well. And we are appointed by the mayor as commissioners to a 3-year term. The rest is, if you haven't read it, well, I hope you have. The rest is pretty much the standard stuff that ZBAs are supposed to do. Anyone have any comments on these bylaws that we seem to have been operating forever without questions that you came up when you read them? I'm sure you spent a lot of hours reading them.
Are we going to operate by them now?
Well, that's the plan, I guess. Speak to the chairman, but that's, I know his input was, and concern was a couple of things were amended. So other than that, he has indicated that he has no problem with it, feeling somewhat technically frustrated. He would have liked to at least been here to comment, but I guess he didn't make it. But we had a conversation about it offline, and his concerns were addressed by the rewrite. And that's about terms. There was a shorter term for chairman and vice chairman.
So pretty much,
There's a couple things in here which you asked a good question, Michael, and I looked at a couple of them regarding political parties, no more than 4 from the same party. I guess we can accomplish that. One of us has to jump ship. I guess we will. There was one other thing that did occur to me that was I think I got that question answered, so never mind. There was something about voting, but it's the same as we've been doing. Basically, we're just doing it in writing. I can't attest to whether or not we'll always and forever adhere to that to the letter, because I hope to be not running these meetings someday soon. So in the meantime, there we are. So, all right, is there a motion?
Good job.
Yeah. Is there a motion to accept and adopt these bylaws as written, the revised version? And we want to go out on a limb and make a motion.
I make a motion to accept the new bylaws.
All right, motion made by Peter DeLucia. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Sibbett seconds. All in favor? Aye. Well, we are now forever and ever on the record, permanent land record. A motion approves, passed for the bylaws unanimously. Any other business that we have that's not on here that we should deal with, Mary? I don't think so. Have we covered it all?
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay, we have. All right, motion to adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
Everybody, all of a sudden, everybody's making motions. All right, Mr. Rivas makes a motion, Mr. Hannah seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is now officially adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a
Thank you, Rod.
question.